glass, and welcome to the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. I have finally got my hands on the world's fastest production SUV. Ever since this car was launched, you guys have been trolling me to get in one, because I think you know I love all things Italian, I love Alfa Romeo, and I love SUVs. This car is theoretically the perfect car for me. So, a quick reminder for those of you that have been sleeping under a rock. What makes the Quadrifoglio Stelvio the fastest production SUV in the world? A 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6 that we've already seen in the Giulia Quadrifoglio that takes this car from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. It puts out 503 horsepower, 440 pound-foot of torque. It's an absolute powerhouse that holds the Nürburgring lap record for a production SUV. So whilst you could claim that some other SUVs, or you could tell me that some other SUVs do 0 to 60 quicker, that's not what this car's all about. It's about the way it performs in every aspect. Corners, straight lines, and everyday usability, because it is a compact SUV. I cannot believe that we are talking about some of the performance figures we are in a car that you're supposed to use to put your dogs in and your family in and go down to Cornwall. It's just perfect. And that soundtrack. If I ever had anything to complain about for the Giulia Quadrifoglio, which I very rarely do if I'm honest, it was the fact that you only really ever got any noise in full race mode. I'm currently in dynamic, so in Alphas you get DNA, dynamic, natural, all weather. I mean, I had a 4C, I should really remember these things, but I don't. And then you have a race, which is usually traction off and a little bit nuts. And so in the Giulia Quadrifoglio, you have to be in race to have the valves open the whole time. I feel like I'm getting loads more noise in this car, look. Farts and all! You may have even noticed that I sort of slightly slid out of that corner, and that is because the Giulia uses Alfa's. The Giulia? Come on, Sam. The Stelvio uses Alfa's Q4 four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive system. Almost 100% of the time, it will try to send torque to the rear wheels. The only time it won't is if it lacks grip. It will then send 50% and a maximum of 50%, never any more, to the front wheels. So then you get a 50-50 share. So it is predominantly rear-wheel drive bias. However, apart from if you're really thrashing it out of a slow corner like that, you're never really going to get a slide on. You might get a bit of movement, but you're never really going to get a slide. It does feel all-wheel drive. Not four-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive. I have to say, I really like the interior of this car. I was expecting it to be very similar to the Giulia, but it's not. It's obviously bigger, being a compact SUV rather than a saloon, but I feel like they've kind of refined certain elements of the design. I'm obsessed with this steering wheel. I don't know why. It just feels so nice in your hands. It's got leather, suede Alcantara and carbon, and when I touch it, I feel funny things inside. I love the fact we still get these massive gear shifter paddles. They're in the Giulia, they're in the Giulia Quadrifoglio, and of course they had to be in the Stelvio Quadrifoglio as well. They're cold to the touch because they're metallic, and they're just lovely. I've got tons of carbon fibre in here, lots of glossy carbon fibre all the way along the dash, on this kind of main centre console. A few additional optional extras. I've got the Harman Kardon speakers, this amazing panoramic roof, which I love panoramic roofs, and because this is a compact SUV rather than a huge, massive, great SUV, I think it's quite important because it opens up the cabin quite a lot. Loads of cubby holes, as you would expect in a car like this. Big side pockets. I've got a glove box. I've got drinks holders here. Infotainment's an interesting one. Now, let me turn the ignition. I'm not sure why my seat just moved there. A little creepy. Maybe that's an easy access thing. Anyway, my seat moved when I turned the ignition on. Because the reason I wanted to show you this is that in the Giulia, I wasn't really a big fan of the main display. They had this sort of big section where you were expecting the screen to sort of take up, but it ended up being that the screen was quite small inside that display. I feel like they've integrated it a lot better in the Stelvio. The actual design of the infotainment system, I don't think is fantastic. It's very functional. It's got everything you need: radio, media, phone, navigation. Car's quite interesting. It's got an efficient drive setting where you can look at how efficient your driving has been. Probably won't show you my stats because I've been absolutely thrashing this thing, so not going to be that efficient. But I find it quite cool that in a car that is inherently sporty, you can keep an eye on your efficiency. I think Paul Wallace would love that. But yeah, it does everything you need it to do. I just don't think it looks fantastic, which is a shame because everything else in the car, in my mind, is beautiful. Take away all the sand. Well, I fit in the back all right, and the Stelvio fits in with the dodgy industrial estate. I've moved around the corner because I thought it was a bit awkward to sit in a car eating a Nando's, sitting in the back of a car eating a Nando's on a high street. But anyway, yes, I'm 6'2". That is my driving position, and I've got enough legroom back here. It's not loads, but I've got enough. You know what? I really like the size of this car, and I really like the way it looks. One thing which we haven't discussed yet in this video is the price. I've kind of been avoiding it because the UK pricing has been revealed today, and this car is going to start at £69,500. That feels expensive to me. Now the thing is, when you look at the rivals to this car, the Mercedes GLC 63, the Porsche Macan Turbo, it's not actually that badly priced. It's a little bit more, I think, than the other two. I need to look at the exact figures, but it's not that far off. So I understand why they're putting it at that price point, but £70,000? Oh, I don't know. Seems right up there. But I guess you're getting a lot for your money. Anyway, I'm going to eat my Nando's wrap, dig in, and then we'll crack on. So, if you gave me £70,000, would I actually buy a Stelvio Quadrifoglio? It's a good question. You know what? I really can't figure it out. I'm not looking to buy the car, so it's hard for me to imagine having £70,000 free to spend on anything. But it's the sportiest SUV I think I've ever driven. But it is still an SUV. You can't escape the fact that this car weighs 1,800 kilos. So despite all the incredible performance trickery, it still feels big. And so for £70,000, would I instead buy a Giulia Quadrifoglio and put a roof box on the top? I might, because it doesn't have that same crispness, I think, that the Giulia has. But I'm just so blown away by how good it is. It's I'm a little confused, if I'm honest. I'm a little like, wow, but and £70,000 does seem like a lot. Anyway, I'm so glad I finally had the chance to experience it because everyone's been talking about it so much, saying how great it is, and I was like, yeah, I can imagine. But now I've actually driven one, and God, I would love. You know what? In the world of YouTube right now, everyone seems to be getting long-term loans. Shmi's got the M5 long-term loan. James got the Vantage. Let's talk about that in a different video. But this would be, I would love to spend like 3 months with this car. Oh my God, it would be amazing. But would I buy one? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come.